Finally sorted out the WD2's magneto. Can now show you the spark. Certainly didn't have a spark like that when I got it. But there is a reason for that good spark. I put the multimeter on the coil and it appeared to be completely dead. So this is still the WD2's magneto, but as you can see the Petter A1's magneto has looked better. This is the coil out the WD2's mag, which just wasn't giving a reading at all. Very faint reading, in fact. But it was showing a weak spark, so I don't know, the impulse drive on this magneto is a lot stronger, and the magnets are a lot stronger on this mag as well. So I don't know, I'm going to put that coil in that mag so I can get that mag all back and complete, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, it might get a spark using the stronger impulse. The impulse is not so great on this one actually, but the spark is a lot better now, and that coil is reading 6,000 ohms, which is plenty. Let's see if we can get a reading. So yeah, 6,000 ohms. Nice. So that should definitely get the WD2 fired up. I've just got to check, because I've put the original WD2's condenser back in, so I've got to flick it around so I can see the back of the points and see if the points are sparking across, see if the condenser's any good. The one in the Petter A1's mag seemed to be good, so that one should be okay. It's very, very simple to change the coils, and I mean, you could pick Petter A1 up a lot cheaper than I bought mine for, but I did intend to get I did get it running, and I had intended to sell it on, but I knew I was getting this, and I thought I better keep the Petter A1 just in case, and I was right to do so, otherwise that would have been a 70 quid mag rewind, or waiting for a working magneto to show up, and that probably would have been 30-40 quid. So I saved myself a good bit of money, and I can still sell the Petter A1. This magneto should give a spark. It was giving a weak spark on this, and like I said, this has a much stronger impulse. That is much stronger than the WD2. Obviously I couldn't switch the mags all the way around. You'll notice straight away impulse fires this way on this one, the other way on this. The WD2 is a reverse rotation, so yeah, it would have been spinning that way, points would have been opening completely wrong, and it would never have sparked. So I had to do the coil swap. I was taking a chance, just doing it off the top of my head, not really done one before, but I'd had the coil out before. I knew you could pop these off, but I didn't know there was just a nut behind there, and you just slacken that off and it comes off. So theoretically my stop buttons should still function, and they do, so that's good. That was something that wasn't working on this mag, and you can see why. It's so bloody corroded. I thought I'd get them out and sort those out. Clean the magneto up a little bit now, and you should be able to see the spark. Well, it's taken an awfully long time, but the governor is finally out. Thankfully enough, it comes out without needing to remove any of the butterfly or anything. It's just a shaft down here. At first I thought you had to knock it in to the crankcase, So I tapped it in a bit, but it didn't seem to be doing anything at all. It did tap in a little bit, but not very far. So then I thought, it must tap out, but it's really difficult to get to, so it took a while, but it's finally out, and I haven't broken any more of the governor arm. The governor arm doesn't look very brassy at the moment. Believe it or not, that is actually a brass governor arm. I don't know where this engine's been. Crikey. It's rusty and manky as anything. Well, brass doesn't rust, but it's coated in oil and all sorts of junk. Pin has gone rusty at the top, and it had corroded a little bit on the end of the shaft here. That's the shaft that the governor rides on. But yeah, we are getting there now. I've finally got the mag working fine. I have had to sacrifice the Petter A1, but I'm going to sell that engine anyway, so. Okay, we got the old WD2 a bit more mobile now, which is pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So the ZZ at the moment, you haven't seen that for a really long time. It's actually sitting on its trolley now. Still not together. I've stopped work on this to proceed with stripping down the WD, and there is a good reason for that really. It is pretty cold this time of year, and paint doesn't dry very well. It takes longer to dry, so there's more chance of getting something stuck in the paint, and it only needs one more coat of paint on it, and I don't really want to ruin it on the final coat just because I'm trying to paint it in January. So I'm going to leave this for when the weather warms up a bit more in the spring, because at the moment it's freezing in the workshop, and then the paint should dry quick again, so we can certainly get more of it done. But that is what it would look like on its trolley, so yeah, not too bad. Okay, well, back to the WD2. Have just a look inside it. Torch. You see all the points where oil drips down into. There's a cavity there for oil to drip down into, and one for the other side bearing. And yeah, I can't see any oil coming out of the other side of that bearing, so not sure if I'm going to have to take that off and have a look, but who knows. There's the I assume these are the holes here for oil to come through the crank, there and there. I've lubricated that. I have squirted oil all in these little spots to put oil on, and oiled the gears, and the engine turns a lot more freely now, so could probably give it a spin. Oh, I said it turned more freely. Oh dear, it was. It still does have quite a tight spot, but it's but it is getting better. One thing I am starting to question is this oil slinger. To me this looks homemade, you know, not symmetrical, certainly not very strong, so I don't know about that. I think I've got a bit of a hunch that that's a homemade jobby. But I'm going to ask on the forum about that, and see what sort of response I get. But everything else looks pretty good. You can see the cam all the way back there, looks okay. So, funny old looking jobby back there. Oh dear, that bloody tight spot. See both lifters riding on their cams. Hopefully everything should be okay back there. Got the magneto there. I was just checking to make sure it definitely is the right blooming rotation for the engine, and it seems to be. But yeah, that's a bit of a look inside the WD2. It's not too bad. You see, it's got a similar system to the Villiers, where it has a hole in the bottom there and this sort of like channel to flick the oil up. And albeit the dipstick looks homemade, it does actually reach the bottom. But I'm not sure about it actually. It doesn't look like it should be there. You know, it just looks like it should be something a bit more substantial. We'll see. Anyway, I do for now. I have had a go at stripping some paint off the engine, just using a scalpel, and so far so good. It seems to come off fairly easily. I think if I apply some heat with a blow lamp to bubble it up a bit, it should come off of there alright. It reveals a nice casting which can be primed. Paint doesn't come off the flywheel that easily, unfortunately. The flywheel is going to be a bit harder. I'm hoping to get some stickers. This is actually, it's not actually a sticker, that's actually painted on there, I think. It does seem to be painted on there. Interesting. Probably see that sort of jobby with a sticker instead of being hand painted. I'm hoping to get some decals for it when I paint it up, and got a paint colour in mind which I have to try and get hold of, and no spoilers there, but it should look nice. I've seen them painted in the colour before, and when I collected this engine, the person I collected it off had an engine painted in the same colour as well, and it looked really nice. So we will try and get that, and when I paint it, if I can get this colour that I want, I'll have to see about shining up all the nuts and bolts. I'm going to try and replace as many of these odd ones as I can. Probably won't be able to do anything with this one because it's been put on there because the stud is broke, so I might have to keep that one on there for now. But these two look to be the same. These three here are the same, but one is missing. All the ones on the back are the same. These two for the carburetor are the same, and the ones around the front are the same, but you won't see those. The head bolts all need shining up. I'm going to go at a couple of them. They are brass, so they should be nice and shiny as opposed to painted. The governor shaft I've got to clean up. I think I've got a governor sorted out now, just waiting for a reply again. But yeah, well, that's where we're at the moment.